are now tuned into the Clout101 Marketing Podcast.
Do anything for clout.
Dissecting the marketing strategies behind the most influential people, brands, and moments in culture.
Whole lot of people need to hear this.
Today is your day.
Power your hustle with the Clout101 Marketing Podcast.
Hey guys, it's Chizzy Duru here.
This is your girl Chanel, and you are now tuned into
Clout101.
Clout101 Podcast.
And now your host, Idia Ogala.
Welcome to the Clout101 Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Idia Ogala. On Clout101, we talk to some of the most successful people across different industries and decode the marketing strategy behind the most iconic moments, brands, and campaigns in culture. TC Atkinson is the founder of Embrace Pangaea, which is a holistic healthcare company that sells plant-based products to help detox, cleanse, and restore our bodies. She's also a notable thought leader in the online marketing space, having turned an initial $50 investment into well over $2 million in sales since 2014 by leveraging paid advertising and email marketing. On this episode, we cover so much, but three things that stand out to me is number one, how to scale your business with targeted Facebook and Instagram ads. Very, very important. Number two, the key marketing tactics to grow a successful e-commerce brand. And number three, the importance of developing a growth mindset before embarking on your entrepreneurship journey. For more content like this, as always, we ask you to subscribe to us on all streaming channels and check out our first 7 episodes. You can check it out everywhere. Their podcasts are made available. We feature some amazing guests who again cover different aspects, different topics within the branding, marketing, and digital development umbrella. So check it out. Let us know what you think. And, we're happy to take requests for guests moving forward and always love to hear your feedback. Without further ado, TC Atkinson. We are so excited to have the amazing TC Atkinson on Clout101. Thank you for joining. I appreciate the time. I know it's been a hassle to get us on this interview, so appreciate the patience and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. I'm excited. I love a good biz talk. Let's dive in.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the most generic interview question of all time is, who are you? But I think it's very important to help set the stage and help give you an opportunity to define yourself, right? Not allowing YouTube searches or videos of past interviews to define you. So who's TC?
Well, TC Atkinson is a first-generation American African of Jamaican descent. And she is one of those millennials that is really forging ahead to just show and be the proof that it's past possible. Like, no matter what you want to do, you can do it if you do the work. So I'm in e-com, I'm in real estate, I do digital products online, and it all works if you do the work. That's what TC Atkinson is. Proof. You spoke about first generation American, right? So can you speak to that? I think another theme is that on this episode, and it's not by design. On this podcast, we've had a lot of first generation Americans. And I think it's just interesting because of the innate hustle that a lot of us are kind of born with, right? Can you just speak to that, to growing up with that duality in terms of culture, and then just how that experience has helped power your business hustle, your successes in the e-commerce space and just your life in general? Well, I would have to say that, yes, definitely culture, because like I said, I'm Jamaican, right? I was born here in the States, but I lived 7 years in Jamaica first. Then I came back and I lived with my grandmother. But as a millennial, we were really raised up in tech. So we came in through a completely different era, a completely different world than any previous generation. We know the importance of tech. We know what technology can do. Like, we've lived to see the Instagrams, the MySpaces, right? We saw all of those things develop. Even what's that one called, like Black World or something like that? Black
Planet.
Yes, Black Planet.
Black Planet, yeah.
Yes. And so because of that, as a millennial, the time frame for you to go and be successful and bring in like crazy numbers, like millions of dollars in 8 minutes, millions of dollars in 30 days, millions of dollars in even a year. That time frame, we don't have to wait till we're 60. We are the generation that is showing that you can live the life of retirement right now. You don't have to wait until you get a pension, you're 60, 70, you're receiving Medicare, and then live. You can
Yeah.
live now, right in the
Exactly.
beginning. So when it comes down to the generation that I'm a part of, we are that generation that is leveraging the internet to live the life of retirement right now, right? All the things that they sell you, why you need to get a salary job, why you need to go to college. And I'm not down in college because I have multiple degrees, but I'm saying that, that dream, right? That storyline, right? That everything that you're going to school for. No, you don't have to wait till you retire.
I agree wholeheartedly. Can you speak to that though? Like, I think sometimes people get, kind of sidetracked, right? When they hear someone who didn't live their experience tell them why their experience isn't the ideal route to take, right? But then someone with multiple degrees, as you just mentioned, you have that position and that stance and that outlook on the world. You were able to live both sides of the spectrum. Can you just speak a little bit more on that? What's your educational background? And then just speak more about that dynamic that you were
Yes,
able to
yes,
learn over
yes.
time.
I'm really glad that you asked this question because out of all the interviews I've been doing recently, no one has ever asked me this question. And I'm very excited to answer this question.
For sure.
So, as someone who left her PhD program and made millions of dollars that same year, I would definitely recommend going to college. Why? I would never have had my business if I did not go to college. But here's my
Exactly.
caveat: go to college not for the classes or anything like that, because you can learn that stuff at home. You can read, right?
On YouTube,
You like
YouTube
third
University.
grade. Exactly. You can learn on YouTube, right? But go to college for the networking because there's no other, I'm telling you, there's literally no other time in your life that you will ever be surrounded by great thinkers in a very small area on a day-to-day basis. And if you are, let's say, an American African, because you have Africans, Caribbean Africans, European Africans. Oh, we're the same Africans, right? But we're just in
Exactly.
different geographic locations. That's why I said American Africans. You got to flip it. It's not a
Gotcha.
denominator. You got to flip it. So,
I like that.
no, it's true, right? What's major and what's minor, right? What are you first? You're African first. Your genetics first, right? So that's why I would say, yeah, go to college for the experience, but don't go to college just to be a student. No, you go to college to refine your communication skills. For instance, my first ever campaign that I ran was in college. And my campaign was to be the electoral commissioner. I ended up winning my campaign. But what it taught me about being able to communicate to different people, it was like a campus wide election that I ran. It wasn't just for your particular class, it was campus wide. So I would never have gotten that experience if I didn't go to college, right? The people that I met in 2014, 2015 that ended up helping me to start my business, Embrace Pangaea, I would never have met them. The circumstances wouldn't have been there. So those are the reasons why I say, yes, go to college. And I'm also saying this as someone who didn't want to go to college in the first place because I'm like, wait, so you want me to go to college, spend 4 years, end up in student loan debt, then I have to work to pay off the student loan debt? I was the person that said I was not going. So I'm speaking from that perspective as well, right?
Yeah.
Now, how did I end up going to college and how does this all tie back into entrepreneurship? It ties in because of the environment. The only reason why I even applied for college was because the friends I was with, they were the ones that were really amped about going to college and all these different things. And I was like, okay, well, we're not going to the mall today. We're not hanging out. We're not running around today. Oh, we're going to just submit applications. All right, that's fine. Afterwards, we can go and have fun, right? And that's what we did. That day, we submitted all our applications and then we went to go have fun. That's important in entrepreneurship and being successful, whether you are a startup, you're a side hustler, whatever you are, because that means environment. If you are around the right people, by default, you would do what? The quote unquote right things. And at that point in my life, the right thing was to what? Go to college. And I'm so grateful I'm so grateful. I wouldn't be here having this interview with you had I not gone to college and participated in the experience of college. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I agree wholeheartedly. Like, I went to two schools. The first, 2.5 years, I went to one university, and then I finished off at another one. And the networking, the people that I met on that campus to this day, they're folks who, I tap into for different opportunities. I'm always helping them. We're growing together. So as you mentioned, like, it's just, you'll never be in a situation where you guys have low risk, right? High reward opportunity. You guys could create projects in the dorm. You're learning more about different people, different cultures. You guys are expanding your knowledge together. It's like a very unique opportunity. So I think if we move away from the fact that this is a transaction, at the end of this college experience, I need to have a job that's paying me 100 and some thousand. Like, if we move away from that transaction and we see it as, no, I want to meet new people, learn about new culture, study abroad, live by myself, and like sit with myself for the first time in my life, I think that the reward will be very, very strong. So
exactly.
I like that. Definitely. So kind of jumping off of that, right? There's this one quote that I've seen you attributed to: we are all the reflections of how we subconsciously decide to navigate through our life experiences. Where did that quote come from? And can you just explain its importance to you?
Well, my PR agent, she got a request to do a written interview. And they asked me, well, what's like a mantra that you live by? And that's one of the things that I wrote. And that's because of everything that we experience is going to stick with you. No matter if you like the experience, you didn't like the experience, it is shaping you and how you go through your life every single day, right? So as you are moving, you always want to reevaluate the situation and say, okay, what experience did I have with this? How did I learn? How can I grow from this? Because you'll have two people in life and they will experience the same thing. And one person will take that experience and it will cause them to shrink. It will cause them to dwindle. It will cause them to be stagnant. Yeah. And then you have another person, they'll take that same exact experience and then they will become this great legend. They'll become this great person that everyone is talking about. They'll become this person that really, really changes the whole world. But it's all about the collective life experience that you have and how you are moving forward from that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And throughout the last, because this is year 7, my most successful business that many of you guys know, Embrace Pangaea, this is year 7 for us. May 12th is going to be year 7. And so all of the experiences that I've had throughout the years, you can have someone that will have those experiences and there will be no Embrace Pangaea for you to even talk about, for you to even buy from. But then you'll have someone like me that has gone through those experiences and has decided to become the person that will be greater than those experiences. So now you have what? You have a story to tell. You have the triumph and the overcome, and you have the better person, right? You have the better person. And that's why I always say too, in business, it's really about personal development. If you want to have a truly successful business, not just a business that you're like, oh, I have a business that you just register with the state, but you don't really do anything with. If you have a business that is successful, that is impacting people's lives, that people are talking about and referring other people to, and a business that can sustain your life and take care of you, you are going to have to become a certain type of a person. But that's all going to be based on your experiences. That's going to be based on your experiences and how you choose to navigate your experiences.
That was very powerful. Again, I resonate with everything that you're saying. I agree. I think that in order for you to be successful in whatever it is that you're aspiring to be, personal development is key. And the only way you can expand and scale is by expanding your mindset and having strong thoughts that are supporting that growth process. So this is, again, another solid transition. How important, and you touched on it a little bit, but I kind of want you to expand a little bit. How important is having a strong and abundant mindset before starting business? And then also, what are some things that you have done over the span of this 7-year period, right, to reshape, to expand your mindset and prepare yourself for this growth?
Okay, so the first part is what is the importance? Okay, the importance of having a strong mindset. So I'll share something with you guys, right? I'm saying this as my experience as a online business owner myself, and also being someone that's in the business. My personal brand is the business of helping you with your business. So I have my physical company, Embrace Pangaea, is a holistic company, and then I have my personal brand, TC Atkinson. And in both of those experiences, being in those two completely different worlds, you will have adversity, right? You will have adversity. And if you don't have a strong mindset, you will be toppled by your adversity. Let me give you an example. In 2016, because I'm in the holistic world and my company truly makes a difference in people's lives, anytime you're doing that, you will automatically be in opposition to Western medicine. And so in 2016, there was this OBGYN and she took on a campaign, right? And amongst her campaign was really to destroy the reputation of holistic companies that offered herbal detoxes for women, right? Or natural products for women. And I mean, I get it. It makes sense. You know, you have these holistic companies that are basically taking away your customers and you're the OBGYN. So I get it. It makes sense. Everything in this world can be boiled down to the green. That's why I wear the green, to the green. All right. So I didn't take it personal, right? I didn't take it personal. But at that time, there was a huge media campaign where she was giving her responses. And because of how the world views doctors, they're automatically siding with her side. And there were articles in the US, there are articles in Latin America, articles in Russia, articles in Europe, all about my company and saying all these horrible things about my company simply because this doctor didn't like the products that we were offering, right? And I received death threats. I received 1-star reviews from people that couldn't even use the product. We had white males who can't even use the products. Like, sir, you're a man. Yeah. How are you giving a 1-star review for a product that you can't even use? And so, like I said, I was receiving death threats. Then on top of that, not only is my company that was extremely successful at that time, right? Tens of thousands of dollars every month. Now I'm having all this negative media slander, 2016. I'm having people send me emails of death threats saying I should kill myself. I'm having the person that I was with, my boyfriend at the time, saying that, oh, if it was him and it was his company, he will crawl underneath a rock, right? And he will close his business doors down. Now, here's the thing. Someone that is saying that doesn't have a strong mind. They don't have the will to overcome. But in that moment, what did I do? I reached out to what? Someone I went to school with, right? I reached out to an old classmate who helped me with my campaign. And then he told me how to navigate that situation, to come out of that situation. Now, if you don't have a strong mindset, you're not going to be seeking solutions. You're not going to be trying to seek and connect with people that can help you out of the issue that you're going on with your business at that time. That's why it's important to have a strong mindset. A strong mindset positions you not as a victim, because I could have been like, oh, why me? Why me? The only thing I thought was, oh, this is not really about me, because she did this to my company, Gwyneth Paltrow's company, and then other companies that were selling the same thing. So it wasn't personal. It was business, because it's always about the numbers. It's always about the green. So that's strong mindset number one. It's always business, never personal. It's always business, never personal. So don't take anything that someone is saying as they are directly coming at you or anything like that. Why? Because you will not survive in this game of the internet sales. Another thing, always be a solution-oriented person. If you do not have a strong mindset, you will always be a victim. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You will always be a victim. But you are never a victim. You are a victor. That's it. So when you ask me the question of how important it is, 90% of being successful in entrepreneurship and being successful in online sales is between your ears. It's that thing that's at the top of your body. It's that thing that your skull protects. It is your mind. It is your brain, your mindset. That is going to get you into amazing situations and get you out of bad situations that you shouldn't even be in. Every single day you have to fortify your mind. Every day you have to fortify your mind. What was the second part of your question?
The second part was pretty much, what have you done, as you just mentioned, fortify your mind, right? What have you done to help reshape your thoughts and expand your mindset to prepare for all of this craziness that happens when you have a successful business?
One thing that I've done with my mind is actually doing the work. So you have two types of work. You have post work and then you have preemptive work. Let's say, for instance, 2016, that was a major turning point. It was a major turning point because, like I said, I went from tens of thousands of dollars every single month to like a struggle $2,500. And that was me doing a whole lot of work, right? Now, in order for me to strengthen my mind in that situation, I literally had to have another win. I had to have another win, and I had to learn how to pivot, how to go into a different industry within the same health and holistic industry. So that's post-emptive, right? That's after an event. What do you do after an event? How do you get out of a situation? Because when you get out of a situation, something similar to that, there's nothing that can stop you. I didn't make millions before that. I made millions after that event because of the person I had to become, the person that wasn't going to take no for an answer, the person that wasn't going to take what some person was saying online who didn't even buy my products, take that seriously. Because when you internalize things like that, you may not even experience this, right? The person that is listening to this, you may have a family member who doesn't support you. You may have friends that don't support you, that don't see your vision, right?
Thanks.
You have to have a strong mindset to know that I don't care what y'all are talking about. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it successful. So the post-emptive work, that's what I'm talking about. Going through a negative experience and coming out of that experience. The win that you will get will strengthen your mind in a way that no one will ever understand unless they have gone through something similar. And the pre-work. So every single day, I am making sure that I am listening to something that is motivational, something that is inspirational. And every single day, I'm making sure that I'm taking action. Why? Because when I take action, I win. Every time I take action, I win. And every time I win, it leads me to a bigger and bigger and bigger win. So what does that do? It primes my mind to think, I don't care what's going on, I'm going to win. And the last thing that I would definitely say in that is now the way that I think about things, especially since COVID, because during COVID was another pivotal time, right, in the company's history, is understanding that no matter what is going on, no matter what hurdles or obstacles, I know once I get through that hurdle or obstacle, the business is going to another level. Mm-hmm. That is something else as well that I have really learned to prime myself for. So now I'm not necessarily saying that, oh, I welcome all challenges, I welcome all obstacles. That's not what I'm necessarily saying. But what I'm saying is if they were to come, or when they come, I should say, I know that it's only coming because we're going to another level, right? We're going to be bigger. We're getting better. So those are the things that I would say, the post-emptive work and the preemptive work, the things to prepare your mind for obstacles, and then how you get out of obstacles.
That was so good. The one part that stuck out to me was you mentioning preparing, like every day preparing yourself and putting in the work. Is Tiffany, the budgetnista, she calls it daily deposits. And I like to, kind of steal that from her, because each day that you work on yourself, it's like compounded consistency that leads to something down the road where you're just automatic. You don't even know why, you don't even know how, but it just builds that way. And then also there was a podcast I was listening to, Flagrant 2. I think a brain coach, his name was Jim something, but he was on and he was talking about the confidence loop. So it's pretty much the more confidence we have, right, in our abilities, that leads to us developing more competence for a specific subject, right? If we tell ourselves we're going to be good at this, and it's not impossible to learn, right? It's not impossible to figure out that we got this. That leads to heightened level of competence in that specific subject, right?
Yes.
And then the competence leads back around to having more confidence. So it's just like half the battle is preparing your mind to just be ready to be able to like sustain, to be able to like conquer the day, to put in those little deposits that compound over time.
I'll tell you something, piggybacking on that, it's so big to work on your mindset, because if you have the mindset of thinking that, oh, this may not work, or what if it doesn't work for me, then you've already decided that it's not going to work for you. And that
Exactly.
leads to you not taking action to even get the results to prove to yourself that it does work.
Mhm.
Half the stuff that I do is really to just, like I said, to be the proof that it works.
A lot of good stuff here. I think the conversation was going very well. I didn't want to stop it, but I do want to give you an opportunity to kind of give us an understanding of what Embrace Pangea is, right? As a company, and
Oh,
give your elevator pitch about the company for those who have been living under a rock and haven't heard about you guys already. So, what is Embrace Pangea, right? And then also just what served as the inspiration to even create this. I want to make sure you have that time to be able to talk about that because that's very important.
awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Embrace Pangea is a holistic company in which we offer premium herb infused natural hygiene products, herbal detoxes, and whole foods. So we cover a variety of categories. So if you're the person that says, oh, I want to be healthy and I want to start a detox, no worries. We have our healthy gut starter kit, and we also have our whole foods like sea moss, moringa, bladderwrack, okay, and burdock root, okay, and soursop leaves. But if you're the person that says, you know what, I'm not really wanting to do a detox, I just want to live a healthier lifestyle, we have you as well. We have our skincare line, we have our oral care line, we're finishing up our toothpaste formula. So I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping to release it at the end of this year. But we have our whole entire oral care line. We just added our floss. And we have a hair care line as well. So we really cater to those people that are living a busy life, but they still want to be healthy. They deserve the best because they're doing a lot of work. You have the 9-to-5ers, you have the professionals, you have the ones that are in academia, and then you have, let's say, the stay-at-home parents. That's a job in itself. So with all of that, we don't want anyone to feel as though health has to be hard, because within the health community, there is a certain sect that tries to make it seem that, oh, you're not healthy if you're not doing this up here. You're not living and meditating on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro for 10 hours. Then you're
Right?
not going to be healthy. And I'm just like, that's so unrealistic. Like,
Yeah.
we live in Western society. This is where we live. So because this is where we live, we should be the healthiest that we can be. So that's what Embrace Pangea is. Embrace Pangea is considered like the Amazon of holistic health. Like, we
Nice.
cover all aspects of life, right? From your home, we even have shower filters. That's what I'm saying. We have your home, we have your skincare, your oral care, your hair care, and we also have your whole foods. So embracepangea.com is my baby. Started May 12th, 2014. And initially, it started out as a holistic clothing line for
Oh,
women.
wow.
Yep, it
Okay.
started as a holistic clothing line for women. Speaking of learning on YouTube, I learned how to sew on YouTube. I bought my sewing machine from Amazon, I think for like $80 or $50. And I was making skirts. I was making skirts for a holistic point of view. So it was African printed, and then it was skirts and dresses. And so that's what I was selling at first. However, I pivoted. Why did I make a pivot? Because of the time. And I was doing custom. So you couldn't just order something and it ships out next day. It was
Made
custom.
to order. Yeah.
Right. So you have to send in your measurements. So it would take me around 3-4 hours to make a skirt or to make a dress from scratch. And so that was 2014. And then the next year is when I introduced our herbal detox. And so with the herbal detox, that is basically no time compared to a custom handmade outfit. And so when I saw, wow, I'm making X amount of sales, X amount of revenue, and I don't have to do all this work. I don't have to store a whole bunch of fabric. I don't have to do a whole bunch of cleanup from fabric cuttings. I'm like, okay, this is the way. And that's how we went from the holistic clothing to just holistic health, natural hygiene products, herbal detoxes, and whole foods.
I like that. And you recognize that you could scale your business, right? By offering products that maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe you're not in the lab creating yourself.
So
more
with
so,
our company, we
Yep.
definitely have our ingredients, right? We have our ingredients, we have
Okay.
our formulas. Do I outsource and use other laboratories? Yes, absolutely. And I would recommend that you do as well, right?
You're smart.
I would. So yes, we do have our own signature formulas, and it is mass produced. And then we ship everything to our warehouse, and then we ship it out to you. And that's one thing that I've learned in the process of building Embrace Pangaea, the importance of having your signature formula that people can't get anywhere else. That helps to build your brand strength.
100%. Two more questions on Embrace Pangaea before we dive into the case study, because I really want to spend some time on paid media ads and stuff like that. Because obviously,
I love a good ad.
Yeah, man. I think you're the perfect person to talk through this. So, a couple more questions. You said Embrace Pangaea was founded in 2014, correct?
Yes.
So over the years, right? 2014, people weren't getting, smoothies and doing yoga and, sea moss, and it wasn't mainstream, for being like 100% honest. Like, I caught on to the scene maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, right? So you guys, your inception was pre this boom with interest from the mainstream on healthy products, holistic products, natural products, right? So my question is, how has that newfound interest, right? How has it impacted your business? On one accord, someone can say it's impacted it positively because you don't have to teach, right? The education is already out there for free and people's minds are shifting. So now they're finding who's in the marketplace and they go straight to your product. The negative argument to that question could be because of all of the interest, all of the big players are now manufacturing CMOS and all this stuff to try and compete, and it's too saturated. So how has the interest over the years impacted you, either negatively or positively?
Well, they're both. They're both. Because like I said, everything, if you follow the money, you know everything that you need to know. So we're having a money conversation. We're having a money talk. And I love having money conversations. I love having money talks. Why? Because it will help people to unscrew themselves. And I'm a big, big, big fan of cutting through the fluff, no BS. Let's just get down to the money. What's going on here? And when it comes down to, let's say, CMOS, let's take that as a case study. For me, I'm Jamaican. So CMOS is not something that's new to me. And it's not new to islanders, period, right? So when it came time for Embrace Pangaea to incorporate CMOS into its holistic food line, I was calling it Irish Moss, Irish sea moss. Why? Because that's what I grew up calling it. You
That's
know,
what it's called. Yeah.
like that's what I call it. But as I started marketing it more, there are some new age people that are just getting into health that are just like, oh, it's sea moss. It's not Irish sea moss. And is it the same? Is Irish sea moss the same as sea moss? And why is that important? That's important because of marketing. Whenever you're marketing a product, you have to do your market research. Yes, you may want to call a product one thing, but what is the market accustomed to calling that product? And so that's one thing that I didn't do. I just went and assumed that because I was Jamaican and I was brought up calling it Irish moss, that everyone else was going to call it Irish moss too, and not think that, oh, well, it may not be credible because it's called Irish moss, because they're new to this and they normally hear it as sea moss. So what did I end up doing? I realized that, wait a second, I'm doing a whole lot of customer service work, whether it's replying in the comment section, responding to emails. It's a whole lot of Q&As about, is this the same thing? So I had to update my product packaging to just say sea moss. I took out the Irish. And ever since making that decision based on what the feedback from potential customers and customers always asking the same question, which I thought was a very irrelevant question from me. And I didn't want to hear and have those customer service questions anymore. I updated my packaging. So if you're listening to this, what are you taking away? What's the lesson? Always do your market research, number one. At that time, I didn't do my market research. Number two, if you see a frequently asked question, figure out how can you eliminate that frequently asked question. Is it something that you can add onto your website as a frequently asked question? Or do you just need to make a change? And I just made a change. The next thing is, as people are getting wind of CMOS and they're like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to make some money because I have my light bill to pay, I have my car note to pay, I have whatever to pay, right? Life expenses. Now you have more people coming into the marketplace. They're taking up more market share, right? So now how do you differentiate yourself? Your quality. Your quality will always save your business. I've been through countless situations where we had backlogs because I did a marketing campaign and didn't realize how well it was going to be. Now we're running out of inventory. Now we have backlogs. But because of the quality, I didn't end up having issues. Because of the quality of the product, because people were talking to their people, their family members, their friends, their coworkers, letting them know about, oh my gosh, this product is amazing. It's changing my life. That's how you keep people. That's how you have brand loyalty. And that's how you get new people into your business. Why? Because they will try other people's what? Sea moss. And then they'll come back to Embrace Pangaea and be like, oh, I tried other companies and this is premium quality. Yes. Because that's the quality of the brand. That's why we charge what we charge. Right? So that's very, very critical. That's very important when it comes down to how has the new interest in holistic health and wellness, how has it affected, let's say, a holistic company like Embrace Pangaea? So those are some of the key ways. So yes, you do get an influx of sales because more people are interested. And if you are already marketing your business, now when these people are interested, they'll quickly find you.
Yeah, coming to you. Yep.
Exactly. But
Especially
you
if you've
also
been
lose some market share as well.
Yeah.
But I think you gain more than you lose, especially if you have your business model set up correctly.
Exactly. I was gonna say if you're indexed on Google, like if if you've been doing the business 3 years before this influx of new people, these companies are gonna have to pay overtime with their SEO strategy to be able to bump you from search results and stuff like that. And then also the market share, it might decrease, right? Let's say we're using CMOS as an example. You might have had 25% in 2015. Now it's down to 17. But the number of people, that 17 is still going to be increasing, year over year. So
Exactly.
you can still make more money at the end of the day.
Exactly. So yes, always take advantage of the opportunities, right? Just see it as opportunities. And that goes back to the conversation we were having about a strong mindset. I could have been the business owner that says, oh my goodness, I'm seeing everyone and their mom selling CMOS. Scarcity mindsets, fear of missing out of sales, FOMO. I could have been that person. Instead, what do? You go to a victor state of mind. You figure out, how can I outmarket you? How can I outdeliver? Right? Because guess what? You don't have the inventory. You don't have the infrastructure. If you get a slew of sales, you don't have the infrastructure to deal with that. I do. So because of that, what am I going to do? I'm going to outmarket you. You may be able to get the Instagram people, but there's a whole lot of different markets online and offline. But because you have a poverty mindset when it comes to your business, you're not going to leverage them. But I will.
Yeah. I want to transition into the case study. Obviously, this is a marketing podcast, so we're going to try our best to give some marketing gems and to kind of understand your thought process from a marketing and branding point of view, right? Obviously, the area that I want to focus on is your paid ad strategy, how you were able to kind of execute that and have a crazy return on investment. So you turned, and correct me if I'm wrong, you turned a $50 investment into obviously this multi-million-dollar company. Can you just talk about that, right? Because that in and of itself, I need to let that breathe. I can't jump into the next question.
Let it breathe.
Just talk about that.
So from
talk about your approach.
Marketing approach, right? When it came down to the $50 investment, that was when I did the herbs, when I transitioned from the clothing into the herbs. Same company, just went from clothing to herbs. So that was in 2015. Multiple millions, not just one, but multiple millions was last year. So that was that's 5 years later. And what happened? What was the thing that happened when it comes to marketing? The first thing that happened was I ended up doing a YouTube video, right? It was a tutorial, and it ended up getting a lot of views, and that was my only traffic source. So when people want to know, well, what type of marketing should I do for my business? My answer is always the same. It all works if you do the work. You just have to figure out what is going to work for you, where you are right now. At that time in 2015, I had no ad budget. I didn't know anything about a Facebook ad, right? I didn't know anything about influencer marketing or anything like that. All I knew was, because I came up through the YouTube era, all I knew was, okay, I am going to do a YouTube video because I was already doing YouTube videos at that time. And I'm just going to do a tutorial. And now I know it as organic marketing, leveraging the free, did I say that? Free features on social media, right? To help to build and drive sales for my business. So that was number one. Now, afterwards, what did I end up doing? I ended up switching platforms. I went from YouTube, then I went to Instagram. Okay. And that's another thing. What are you doing? You're stacking social media platforms. You are adding, going from one platform, YouTube. Oh, now I'm going to add in Instagram. And what happens now? You add in a whole nother pool of people. Okay. So now the next play that I did when it came down to marketing was tapping into influencer marketing, right? Tapping into influencer marketing. And I wasn't as successful with influencer marketing at that time because of who I am as a person and who I was as a person, right? So in that regards in my life, I'm pretty much the same person. I do not like to follow up and kind of like a babysitting thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. So that's why I wasn't as successful with influencer marketing at that time. Did I have other friends who had businesses that were successful with that type of marketing? Yes, because that was their personality, that was their temperament. These days, I hire partnership coordinators, and they coordinate the details with working with the influencer and doing all the back and forth, the things that I don't like to do. I'm serious. I don't like to do that. Lesson, message.
But half of it, but more than half of success is being self-aware and then, building around your strengths. So if your weakness is following up and doing all the nitty gritty, then you hire someone to plug that, and you allows you to focus more of your time on what you're good at, on strategy. So
yes.
I
And
don't blame
then
you.
I went into Facebook because I tried influencers for a while. Then I went into Facebook marketing, Facebook ads. Majority of platforms, social media platforms, they have an ad component to it. Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube,
TikTok.
Google, TikTok. They all have their own built-in platforms. So why did I love Facebook? I love Facebook because of who I am as a person. You know my background, I'm a researcher by trade, right? By education, I'm a researcher. And I love those types of marketing, like the Facebook marketing, because it's nothing but data. If you are a data person and you can really read data, you will be extremely successful with Facebook marketing, right? Or YouTube or Google, because they have dashboards. The next reason why I love this type of marketing is because it allowed me to focus on other things. I didn't have to do a lot of follow-up. It's really, you set your ad up, right? Your picture, video, your caption, you put in your link where you want people to go on the interwebs, and then you let it run. You go away for a few days, you come back, you check it out. And based on the data will tell you what you need to do. The data will tell you what you need to do. And I really appreciated that. So in 2018, I spent a whole entire year working and to figure out how to make Facebook ads work for my business. And it worked out. Now, let's go back to mindset. Why? Because your mindset is going to be very important to drive your marketing for your business. I always say this, you don't have a sales problem. You just aren't marketing correctly. Sales is the way, and marketing is the lifeblood of your business because it will drive your revenue. And so when it comes down to driving your revenue and how that ties into mindset, in 2016 is when I ran my first ad. I spent like $300, $400 and lost all my money on Facebook. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't understand how to use the platform. I didn't know how to read my data. And so I gave up. Then in 2017, I spent another $400. Same thing happened. That's why in 2018, I did what I committed to the process. I committed to trying to figure out how it's going to work for me because I see it's working for other people. And so a lot of times in your business, you may not have the results that you want right now because you're not sticking through the process to make it work. So by the end of 2018, I was able to make Facebook ads work for me and my businesses. That was critical in our multiple millions of dollars last year. Critical. And then so after that, I did email marketing. And with email marketing, I can make like $30,000 to $40,000 in 24 to 48 hours, really 36 hours actually, with just email marketing. Do you have to use all these different multiple marketing methods and strategies? No, you don't have to. But what I'm sharing is that you have options based on who you are. You may not be the person that is going to be really good at reading data, and you may not want to hire someone that can run your ads for you. That is understandable. But you still have organic marketing. You still have affiliate marketing. You still have email marketing, right? I had paid out tens of thousands of dollars in affiliate commissions. So if I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars in affiliate,
that means
you
10x. Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? But the amount of marketing opportunities that business owners have at their fingertips is crazy. And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Because I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. And when we're having a conversation about marketing, I want everyone to walk away and keep this message in their hearts and in their minds. Today will be the cheapest and it will be the easiest for you to market your business. Cheapest and easiest for you to market your business. Ever since the whole entire COVID situation, my ad account has been shut down twice because I sell holistic products. Before COVID, my ad account was never shut down. Never shut down. So now I have to be more strategic in how I run my ads. I have to be more strategic in how I write my ad copy. What does that mean? I have to do more work now because Facebook has changed up certain rules and certain criteria. Even the ways that you're able to target people. In 2016, when we had a new president, right, and there's this whole entire issue that happened with Russia and the votes and all of these things through Facebook ads, Facebook had to make policy changes. So now we as marketers weren't able to target people based on the car they drove, based on where they lived. So this does what makes it harder for us. So that's what I'm saying. Today will be the cheapest and the easiest for you to market your business. And you don't have a sales problem, you just are marketing correctly. That's it.
I agree. So let's break down, so like Facebook ads specifically, right? Since that's what you use for the most part. So what's the anatomy of like a successful Facebook ad? What are important elements that you need to consider in terms of budget? What's a good budget you need to consider? You mentioned copy, what's important with copy. Just give me like, if I'm don't know anything about Facebook ads, just walk me through what your approach is in terms of elements, the creative, the copy, and then, maybe your targeting preferences for your specific community.
So when it comes down to Facebook ads, the way that I teach Facebook ads is very, I wouldn't say unconventional, but it's very real. So before you even run your Facebook ad, you need to be able to have the profits in that product to be able to afford Facebook. I don't care what type of video you have, what type of ad copy you have. If you don't have the profits, you will not do well with your Facebook ads. For example, let's say you have a product and it sells on your website for $10. If it sells on your website for $10, I know it didn't cost you $0 to make. I don't care if you're hand making it. I don't care if you are wholesaling it. I don't care how you get it. It's going to cost you money to even have that product. So that means you don't even have $10 in profit if you're selling it for $10. You don't have $10 in profit. And when it comes to running your Facebook ads, it's going to cost you money to get that sale. So I always recommend that you need to have a minimum of a $10 profit in that product before you even consider running a Facebook ad for that product.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? Because you could have an amazing video, picture, ad copy, but if it costs you $8 to get that sale and the profit in that product is $9, let's say $9, so you only got $1 in profit left over. And you still have to pay for your website, your staff. You still have to do all these other things with just that $1 that's left over. You cannot scale. So that's what I'm saying. So before you even do your Facebook ad, that's what I talk about. And that will let you know your budget as well. How much can you afford to spend on your Facebook ads every day? How much can you spend? So when it comes down to a budget, number one, what is the profit in that product? Whatever that profit is, that should literally be the minimum. And if the minimum for the profit should be $10, then the minimum that you should spend every day on your Facebook ads is $10. And that's $10 per audience, not just $10 for your ad. Because remember, it's a test, right? So you're going to have to test different audiences. You're going to have to test to see, well, is this audience resonate with my product or this audience? Who is it? So $10, the ad budget. So now when it comes down to your visuals, what makes a really good Facebook ad visual? Remember, people are scrolling and minding their own business, and you are literally jumping right in the middle of their phone with whatever you want them to buy. Whatever you want them to buy. This could be at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 5, 6 in the afternoon, or 10, 11 o'clock at night. You don't know when this person's going to see your ad. But when they see your ad, you want to make sure that the visuals is something that will have them to stop. So what I like to do, I like to use emotion. Why? Because as humans, our brains, our eyes are triggered to look at motion, right? So even though I'm talking, you're looking at where my finger is going. Because that's how you're trained. That's how the human mind works. So I always like to have some type of motion, whether I have my camera and I'm talking with my hands, or I'm like, moving the product or something like that. You always want to have motion. So that's one critical element. Now, when it comes down to your ad copy, the way that I teach how to do Facebook ads is based on how I actually run my ads. And that's crucial because sometimes people will teach you to do things that they're not even doing themselves. Exactly. So be careful with who you go to learn how to do Facebook ads from. Make sure they're actually following the techniques and they're updated and relevant to the new era that we're in with Facebook ads. The way that I write my ad copy, line number 1, you need to make sure that you are very clear. What is this? Why? Because you are interrupting someone. This is called interruption marketing. They are minding their business, scrolling through their phone, and you are interrupting them with something that you want them to buy. Did you want them to buy? So you need to be very clear in the first sentence. Make sure you state exactly what is this product. Don't try to add any fluff. What is this product? How is it helping them? And here's the last thing that I will say about Facebook ads. Always market your business from the perspective of, I am helping you to solve your problem. I'm helping you to get out of a painful situation that you're in, an uncomfortable situation that you're in, as opposed to, I'm going to help you to have more fun. Why? Because countless data shows, when I say data, I mean like, yes, there's research data, but then there's also money and sales that come in to prove that people will spend more money to fix a problem that they have as opposed to get more enjoyment. Think about all those people, and this may be you or it may be me, that, oh no, I'm not going to spend money on a trip. I'm not going to spend money on vacation. Oh, but I will spend money to learn how to make money because I'm afraid my lights are being cut off, or I need to make sure I'm going to pay my car payment. So those are the two options. It's either you're going to get more pleasure or you're going to avoid pain, either because you're getting out of it right now or you want to prevent pain from happening. So that's how I.
Yeah. So in terms of like an example of, successful ad campaigns that you've personally run, you and your team, can you recall maybe the most successful ad, and then just what about that ad was different from some of the other ones that you ran? Because obviously you mentioned A/B testing, right? Being able to compare different creatives and different copy and different audience sets. And again, if you made this much money, so I know the top of mind, you probably remember some of your more successful campaigns. So can you just speak to what was different in those compared to some of the other ones? Maybe like what your return on investment was, how many people did you reach? Just give me the basics of that, just so we can kind of get some context.
So for me, it's always going to go back down to the dollars, right? It's always going back to the bottom line, your revenue, because that's how you keep your business open. The amount of people that you reach, or the amount of people that see your ad, aka the impressions, or the amount of people that click, they don't keep your doors open. It's the people that follow through and become customers. So I remember there was this one ad campaign. It's still running to this day. And the way that I build Facebook ads, I build them to last for years. I don't build Facebook ads to just be one-hit wonders or to just run for a week, a month, or a day or something. I don't do that. Why? Because I put a lot of time into them, and I'm a minimalist. So I like to get maximum results for minimal effort. I like to leverage, right? So there's one ad campaign that I've started running like 2 years ago, and it has brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this ad campaign was a customer testimonial. A customer testimonial. So someone wants to know, well, what ads should I run? I would say, yes, a customer testimonial is a good ad to run, but I wouldn't say it should be your first ad, right? I wouldn't say it should be your first ad. Why? Because a customer testimonial ad is more so to add certainty or add security to the potential buyer so that they know, like, oh, I see someone who looks like me. I see someone who had similar issues like me, who used this product, used this service, and look, they had these results. Customer testimonials are so powerful. And so because of that, I'm just like, oh, wow, I had no idea, right? I had no idea, Idia. So that's one ad campaign that really, really, really stands out to me. Another ad campaign that really stands out to me was a campaign that did, at this point, let me go pull up my ad account and see how much this ad campaign actually did.
We get in the live data. I love it.
So I'm gonna click right into it right now. So there was one ad campaign that I have here, and it has like a 3x return. That's just one. And that is $22,000, $23,000 in return. And I wish that it would give me a grand total at the bottom. Yeah, I wish it would. I need to reset my account. But that's just one thing. And that's just from one audience inside that campaign. That's just from one audience inside that campaign. Yeah. Now, why was this surprising to me? Because I had no idea that so many different people all had these same issues. I had no idea this one product was going to be so in demand once I put the ad out there.
Exactly.
And that's one thing about it. So when people are running their Facebook ads, yes, the main thing is you want to get sales, but you will learn a whole lot more things about your business when you do run paid ads. So that's one thing. And then I'll give a third example. One thing that also, number 3, that also was surprising to me when I was running Facebook ads was how when you start niching down, how much more you can get in return. Because so many people, they think that, oh, I want to sell to everybody. Yes, you do want to sell to everybody, but you want to be very specific about who that everybody is. I want to sell to everybody that fits this criteria right here, that criteria right here. But you don't just want to sell to anybody. All money is not good money. So some money will cost you a whole lot more.
I agree.
So that's the important thing. So those are my 3 critical lessons. Lesson number 1, yes, testimonials are amazing. Lesson number 2 is that when you are running ads, especially if you have a product that is doing very well, you will realize like, wow, like I did not know this was such a problem. And then you'll find other ways to create different products around that so that you can recoup more of your ad spend money. And then lesson number 3 is just niching down and niching down and niching down and niching down and niching down. Like I had a 9x return once I did one level of niching down versus the ad before was like a 4x. But when I niched down from that ad, I had a 9x return. So you see, so that's what I'm talking about. The power of niching down.
I see in this Facebook ad library that you work with, I think her name is Morgan Dawson.
Yeah.
Right. For influencer marketing, opportunities with the CMOS product that you guys have. So have you explored, I'm just curious, I know brands do this a lot. Have you explored collaborating with influencers who create the content around your product and then boosting, giving them, money to boost the posts on their specific platform? So that way, obviously it's reaching their audience more broadly, developing that trust, and then just comparing that versus running that same ad organically on your social media. Have you done like tests like that?
So that is in the works, and I would highly recommend that a
Okay.
company explore that option. We are in the exploration part of that
Yeah.
phase. We haven't actually launched out to test it as yet to be able to give you like, oh, this is the solid results. But it is something that is in the works. So once we
Yeah.
finish like 2 or 3 other projects, then we'll be implementing that. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Why? Because
Yeah.
their audience
I've
already
been.
knows them. Their audience already trusts them. And
Mhm.
you're not going to reach, I would say, like more than 10% of anyone's audience when you do like a standard post. I don't do boost posts. I normally
Exactly.
go into the back end of Facebook and set up my ads that way. But when you have that
Mhm.
influencer run the ad through their page and it reaches their audience, unless this influencer is like mega successful, then you can't really just go into the Facebook platform and type their name in and like, I want to run ads to all these people.
And type their
It
name.
doesn't,
Exactly.
it doesn't work that way. Yeah, so this is a great way to target those followers and still get your ad money. So I definitely have that as the third project that we have to go and do. But there's like 2 more things that we have to do before that.
Yeah, you have to tell me how that works because I've been seeing a lot of brands do it. As a marketer, you're just nosy, you're just paying attention to everything, looking at different ad sets and just seeing how people are working on it. And I've seen a lot of it recently, like influencers that I know that have millions of views on a sponsored post. I'm just like, all right, this is probably a lot of money and it's aligned with a specific brand. I know it's not you who's fronting that money for that brand. And then I find out, okay, this person is obviously getting the creation fee from the brand to be able to create the content, right? Another fee to be able to license the content, right? For a specific number of months, whether it's a year, whatever, ability to use it on their social platforms, and also the additional money to either, as you said, boost it or go in their back end and then run a specific ad. So I just think it's just interesting. And there are a lot of different cost effective ways that brands can expand their reach through
Yes.
ads. So
Absolutely. It all works. Like it all works if you do the work. That's it.
That's the motto. That's the motto of this episode. Other than Facebook, have you explored any other ad platforms? Like I know TikTok, I know Twitter has their ads. Have you tried any of those, or are those like on the horizon?
Yes, so I have tried Snapchat, but I need to get more education on how to use Snapchat because it doesn't have as
Okay.
many features and functionality as the Facebook platform. I've also done Google, but I hired
Yeah.
someone to do my Google ads. And last month I spent
Nice.
$15,000 on Google ads, brought in like $43,000 in sales. So it's definitely a platform that is beneficial
Nice.
for my business. And I think it's
Mhm.
great for all businesses, no matter if you're like just starting out or if you've been established for a while, because what you can do with Google is you can leverage search, right? You can leverage search so that when someone is typing in
Mhm.
something that relates to your product or it's a similar product name, then your ad pops up. And so I think that's been very beneficial. Clearly,
Yep.
we put 15 in, got back 43. Yeah, I want to put $100,000 in. Now, that's my personal goal to put $100,000 in
Yeah.
to Google, and then let's see. But that's it. Like this month is 20,000, so I increased 5,000 in my ad spend for Google.
Mhm. Got it. And then just generally, right, before we kind of transition to the next part, next segment, I know you mentioned it before. You said it's a product of understanding what your profit is, from there seeing what you can realistically spend, testing it, and then seeing what works, and then adjusting accordingly. Is there a specific amount though that someone listening to this right now, needs to think about investing for it to even make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So when it comes down to the actual amount, this is the test. Okay, this is the test. Every business
Mhm.
owner that is planning on running Facebook ads and you want to know, well, what's the budget? How much should I allocate? Here's a test. Here's a test. Set that money on fire. If I set $1,000 of your money, the business owner that's listening to this, if I set
Mhm.
$1,000 of your business's money on fire, and I say, oh, this is your Facebook ad spend money for the month. If you are itching and you starting to sweat and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to put this fire out. That's not your budget. Now, if you're on the other end and you're just like, it's $1,000, I'll make that back. That's your budget. But you need to go a little bit higher because you didn't start sweating
Got
it.
it.
You didn't start sweating
Fire.
yet. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You get to the point where you
too
start to,
casual.
yes, when you start to sweat about that ad budget, just go a little bit underneath them. So let's say $1,000 makes you sweat and you want to go put the fire out. Okay, what about $800? Are you sweating at $800? $500? $100? Why do I say that? Because it goes back to your mindset. Understanding how to be successful with Facebook ads, it's really about understanding that you are in a state of consistent testing. And if you get antsy about the test, if you feel as though, oh my gosh, I have spent X amount of dollars and I have not gotten my money back, and I'm just going to do away with Facebook ads, that means that you are not spending the right amount of budget that your business can tolerate spending every single month just to get it right so that you can make millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. I spent a whole year after 2 years of starting and quitting. You see what I'm saying? And so after that year, I was like, oh, okay, I get how to use Facebook ads now. I get how to make this work for my business. You see? So that's the important thing. That's what I would like to say when it comes down to budget. Why? Because every business is going to be different. Every business owner has a different monetary financial risk tolerance. So if I come to someone and I say, for you, the business owner, to spend your money on Facebook ads, you need $5,000. You may be like, oh, Facebook ads is not for me. But you can do a Facebook ad budget with $500, $1,000, $2,000. The more money you have to spend means what? The more opportunities you will have to figure out what is going to work. So that's why I said that example about setting the money on fire. That's it.
I like that. I like that. That's good because I can resonate with that 100%. It's almost like investing. Like I feel like some people, they want to throw all their money in and it's like throw my life savings. It's like, no, don't do that. But if you, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, and it's something that you're not uncomfortable losing, right? It's not a matter of life or death. You use that to play around with. If you make money, you make money. If you lose money, you learn, and then you can adjust your approach moving forward. So I like that a lot. So I want to talk about tools, right?
Okay.
So we spoke a lot. You're doing amazing. Obviously, building a multi-million-dollar business, leveraging, social media ads. You're doing organic stuff as well, like your email marketing, influencer marketing, all these different things. I don't know how big your team is, but it seems like you guys are pretty small, but doing a lot of things that, companies that are very small, but as impactful as companies that have 100 employees, 200 employees, right? At this point. So I want to talk about tools. What kind of tools do you use to market your business, to manage your business? And then can you just talk about the tools you used in the beginning versus now when you've scaled, when you've leveled up, when you've become that multi-million-dollar brand? Is there a difference in what you're using? Just so the people who are listening now, who are just getting started, know what to dabble in, and the people who are on your level and trying to get to that next level know what you're using now to continue to evolve.
Yes. So when I was just starting out, I remember I spent like 3-4 hours manually typing into USPS.com's website to create my label. I had to put in the to address, which is the address for the customer, and the from address, which was my address for the business at that time. And it took me 3 to 4 hours to do 50 orders. 50 orders. Now, when it comes down to the question of, well, what tools? In the beginning, I was not using any tools. Major mistake. There are 3 critical S's. Software is one of them. Staff is next. And then systems. You have to leverage those 3 to really have another S, a successful selling business. All right. And so the tool that I use, that I was kicking myself that I didn't use before, was a shipping software. These days I use ShipStation as my main shipping software. And what took me like 3 to 4 hours to do, it does in matter of seconds. The label is created, the customer is notified with their tracking number. I print it out, I package it up, and I can print my end of day slip. So when I take it to the post office or I schedule a pickup, wink, wink, wink. Remember, that's another software. Okay. You don't have to go to the post office to stand in line and all of those things. You can schedule a pickup and they will come to your house and they will pick up your orders. So that way you can do what? Save time, which is your greatest resource. So doing those two things definitely impacted my business. And if you're just starting out, you should be doing those things. Do not be like me. You cannot do everything yourself. Back to what? Mindsets. All right. Do not do everything yourself. Leverage what? Your systems, leverage your software, leverage your staff, because what your systems and your software, that's a part of your tools. It's different types of tools, right? Staff is what? Human resource. That's a tool that you use for your business. Your systems, that's how you do things, right? Your standard operating procedures. And then you have your software. That's another type of tool. That's a tech tool, right? So ShipStation for sure. And then scheduling pickups from USPS.com for sure. Now, these days, what are some tools that I'm using? Facebook. Facebook
It could be, it could be social media platforms. It can be software. It can be apps. Anything, just anything that makes your life more efficient and makes you a better marketer, a better brand manager.
Google Drive. Google Drive for sure.
Yes, me too.
Yes, because you know why? It allows you to tag in your team members. It allows you to collaborate with other businesses so much faster, so much easier, because it makes sharing better. And now Google even incorporates video calls and video conferences and all these different things. So it becomes like a one-stop shop where you, the business owner, you don't have to learn multiple different platforms, because each tool that you use, each software that you use is going to come with its own learning curve. But if you're just using, let's say, Google Drive to store your files, to have your conference calls, to schedule, to use the calendar, like it's all in-house. It's all there. So that's another tool that I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely live in a good Google Drive. Let me see. What's the next thing? A next tool or software that I use all the time? I would say Skype. I would definitely say Skype. When it comes down to planning out marketing, launching different campaigns, I would say Skype. I would say Skype. Let me see, a very specific marketing tool. I use Planoly. I use Planoly to schedule my posts. Yeah, I use Planoly to schedule my posts. That's also very good, very beneficial.
I haven't heard of Planoly.
You heard of it, right? You've heard of Planoly, right?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of it.
It's so good. I've been using it for years.
Yeah.
For years. To the point where some people, they think that sometimes we actively post and sometimes we don't. But you always want to do what? Stay top of mind. You always want to remind your customers that you are there. And remember, I don't care how many followers you see someone have, probably less than 10% of those people actually see that person's post. Probably less than 10%. That's just based on the algorithm. And remember what I said earlier on in this interview, that today will be the cheapest and the easiest for you to market. Remember, Instagram, talking about this platform now, Instagram wasn't always this way with this algorithm where when you post, if let's say 10% of your people don't engage, then they don't push it out to the rest of your people. Back in the day, a few years ago, Instagram was set up to be chronological. So as soon as you post, that's when that person will see your post. These days, I'm looking and I'm like, you posted this 3 days ago? But then the post above it was posted 3 seconds ago. And the post below it was posted 3 hours ago. And this is coming from 3 different accounts all on my feed because the algorithm is different. So that's what I'm saying to you guys. Today is the cheapest and easiest it will ever be for you to market your business. So yes, leverage these tools. Planoly, right? Facebook has Creator Studio, right? And that allows
Creator Studio.
Yes, that allows you to schedule your posts as well. I was always using Planoly, so I don't want to use another software to do the same thing. So don't get FOMO. Don't get fear of missing out. If you are listening to this and you already have a software that does a scheduling for you, stay there. stay there, because you're going to put yourself behind trying to learn a new system when you already have it. Let me see something else. StreamYard. You use StreamYard?
I don't use it, but I've heard a lot about it from a lot of people, and I watch a lot of digital shows that are produced on StreamYard, and it seems amazing. This option, Zencaster, is just cheaper and it serves its purpose for me now, but I do think StreamYard is the next level for me.
Yeah, StreamYard is so phenomenal. You're able to do a live that shares into your YouTube channel, shares into your Facebook page, your Facebook group, and it allows all the comments to come to one location. So you're only using one device to maximize your reach on the interwebs. You don't have to toggle between 3, 4, 5, 6 different devices, because you go literally to one location and the comments are all there. And you can share, let's say you have a comment from YouTube, like a YouTuber comments. The people that are watching you live from your Facebook page is not going to see that YouTube comment. But if you hit show, then it pops up on the screen, and then the people that are on Facebook will be able to see that comment that YouTuber made on your live. So I think it's very phenomenal. I'm so grateful for those creators to have make that software available. And remember, as the business owner, you have to tap into leveraging the opportunities you have to maximize your business's sales. So if you see a software that makes your life easier, makes your business's ability to market better, because what's live streaming? That's just a form of organic marketing. That's it. Just a form of organic marketing. And there's so many ways to flip that, right? You can send an email saying, hey, meet me on live. You can chop that video up and now you have Instagram content for a month. You can chop that video up and now you can test out, well, which part of the video is going to convert better in your Facebook ads, your Google ads, right? Whatever type of ads. So there's so many ways for you to flip organic marketing. So I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great. And my first real money when I was making tens of thousands of dollars came from organic. So that's what I have to say about that. The tools. I gave you like four tools.
Yeah, you gave me a lot. You gave me a lot of tools. I appreciate that. Okay, and then another question, marketing related, as digital content and the marketing landscape is like changing, right? It's always changing, it's always improving, always evolving. How are you remaining a student of the game? So student of the game, both in making sure that you're, solidifying yourself as a natural healthcare expert, right? But also as a business owner, as a business marketer. I know a lot of people who are listening to it now are like, you have to stay on top of your game, and you have to make sure that you're a student and you're learning and you're consuming a lot of things so that your business is adapting. How are you doing that?
Number one, whenever it comes to staying on top of the game, I convert that to being, how do I continue to drive sales, right? Because I wouldn't say that I don't ever want to be the top. It's a lot of pressure at the top because you got to maintain the top spot. It's a lot of pressure to be number one. I always like to be a cool number two. Because I'm right there on your heels. But I'm not going to get all that pressure from, oh my gosh, they're coming, right? So that's just me. I like to be a cool number two. Just be like, hello, I am here. And so with that being said, how do I stay there, right? How do I stay there? Number one, I'm always assessing, like, what are the implications of these global changes? We recently had the initiation of, the pandemic, the global pandemic. And when it comes down to marketing your business, you have a different angle, right? Now, yes, you may have the angle of, let's use CMOS. You can say, oh yeah, CMOS, it's like a daily supplement. Okay, well, that was pre-pandemic. Now we're just talking about a different aspect to CMOS, right? When it comes to being an immune builder, right? Because it makes sense based on the current events that are happening. So as a business owner, you don't have the luxury of just staying under a rock when it comes down to what's happening in the world. I'm not saying don't consume yourself with it, because then you won't be doing your work to build your sales. But know what is going on, because it will help you to better market your business in whatever platform you're using. And with that, you can create different bundles. You can create different services, all based around that. Different products, you know? So that's one thing. How do I stay on top as a marketer for my company and the companies that I run? Knowing what's going on in the world, current events, and how can we leverage that and which angle can we go from? Okay, so now the next thing is, what changes are these platforms going through? What are the changes that they're going through that will impact my business, and how can I circumvent or overcome those changes? So that's number 2, how to stay on top. Number 3 thing that I personally do is I'm always a student of the game. And when I say a student of the game, a lot of people know me from, let's say, my holistic company, Embrace Pangaea, but I'm a student of the game of sales. I'm a businesswoman. Before I'm a health person, I'm a business person. And so I'm always studying different markets. I'm always studying, okay, so in the insurance industry, this is how they get sales. This is how they get their clients. This is how they retain their clients. Okay, well, how can I incorporate that model into my existing businesses? How can I leverage what they have going on? Maybe I have to tweak it a little bit for it to make sense for me, but how can I use what's happening over there for me? All right, so that's that. That's number 4. So the number 5 is knowing, where do you stand? Where do you stand? So this year, my goal was to make 10 figures. I'm like, 7 figures is not enough. It's a lot of people making 7 figures, but it's not a lot of people making 8 figures, much less 8 figures in the industry I'm in, looking like how I look.
Subtle flex. Subtle flex.
It's not a flex. It's not a flex. I'm just sharing what's going on with me, right? Because one thing is, when you open up someone's mind to what is possible, you can't ever take them back. So I openly share these goals that I'm working after because I want people to know that it's, like I said, I'm the proof. I'm the proof. So when I hit this goal, it's going to be a whole bunch of people hitting it too. It's the Roger Bannister effect. It's the
Exactly.
4-minute mile, right?
Yep.
No one could crack the 4-minute mile until one person did it. And afterwards, everybody in their mouth is doing it. So I am the 4-minute mile. And so when it comes down to achieving this goal, I had to look at myself and I said, okay, self, there are certain marketing tactics and marketing strategies that I have never used before, that I've never really explored before in like a meaningful way. 2 of those tactics was Google ads as well as direct mail. So what am I going to do? I have to ask myself, am I going to invest money to learn from someone who's successful in Google ads or direct mail? Or am I going to hire someone who has a proven track record in Google ads and direct mail? Or am I going to be the person that is diving into the bottomless pit of YouTube trying to learn how to do Google ads and direct mail? Do I have more money than time, or do I have more time than money? In this instance, I have a larger marketing budget than I have time to manually market and learn. So I decided to hire. I hired for both of those things. And the only thing I was focusing on this year was focusing on marketing tactics and strategies that I already knew how to do. And then I hired the rest. And that's how last month we was able to do $43,000 in sales that just came from Google ads. Just came from Google ads. That's it. And that's how I stay ahead of the game. You have to be real with yourself. You have to ask yourself and pay people their money. Pay for these services. My business is $5,000.
Yeah,
I would gladly pay $5,000
Say it again.
to make a meal in Google ads. Gladly.
Exactly. It only makes sense. You have to put up money to make money. You know, you can't be stingy and expect all of your goals to be met. You have to pay to play. So I like that. And also I appreciate you for telling your story. Like, I think exactly what you said is important. If no one has ever heard of a young Black entrepreneur making, multi-million dollars online, right? And not having to work a 9 to 5. If you've never heard that story, or if you've never seen that person, or if you've never, seen someone that looks like you going through that, you think it's impossible. It's not something that's top of mind. It's something that you probably shun other people for saying out loud, like, oh, why would you believe in that? That's not true. It's not possible. It's a scam. Like, I think it's the more we tell our stories, the more we story tell, highlight people like you that are doing exceptional things, it just shifts the mindset, right? Where people are like, okay, cool. Like, these things that are traditional, I'm just going to use them as a tool to be able to get from point A to point B, as opposed to like, this is my life.
Exactly.
I think it's important just to at least give our community the option, right? Like,
Yes.
no one's saying you have to jump out the window and go start a multi-million dollar business, but at least mentally have the option to know that there's more than the traditional, and I could go and do that if I want to. I could create that business if I want to. I could leverage my smarts in a different way than what I was taught growing up is the proper way to leverage your smarts. So I just think options are something that as a community we have not always been given. So I like, being able to highlight people like you who have unique stories that can have people at least starting to think a little bit differently. They can still continue doing what they're doing now, but just know it's possible. So if you ever decide that you want to try, you know who you need to look up to be able to surpass and execute on a high level.
Exactly. And I just want to add, since we're talking about the options, right? When I graduated from Florida A&M in 2014, I ended up getting my first ever career position. And I was working for the community college in Tallahassee, and I was doing chemistry and physics, right? So they had like a learning center, and students would come there for help with whatever subject matter they had. But I was their science specialist. And I remember I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I graduated and I got a full-time job with, as a salary. It's not just a job. Ooh, it was salary. It was 33,000 big ones, right? And I had dental, I had healthcare. It was a real job. I remember I was being so excited about that. And I started working there in August of 2015. And then I remember April 1st, I had quit. By that time, I had quit. Why? Because my online business was making 7 times what they were paying me. 7 times what they were paying me. And I was like, no, I don't want to wake up, because it's Tallahassee. It's basically Alabama, Georgia weather. I had to wake up in the morning, go to work. And when I woke up, I had ice. I had to sit in my car for 15 minutes waiting for the ice to defrost so I could see to even drive on the road. I hate the cold. That's number one. And so I was just like, wait a second. What type of madness am I living? What type of insanity am I living? What type of alternative reality am I living? Why am I sitting in my car waiting 15 minutes for ice to defrost off of my windshield when my online business is making 7 times as much as what these people are paying me? And I could be home in the warmth.
Exactly.
And fast forward, last weekend, what they were paying me in a year, what my salary check was, I posted this on my social media. My salary check was, like I said, $33,000 for the year. That was my offer, my salary offer. Made more than that in one day, one 24-hour period. And I'm just like, wow, imagine if I would have settled. And imagine if I would have took that version of my life to be my whole entire life. Because there were people that were working there for 10 years, 7 years, right? And I'm just like, imagine if I didn't continue pursuing my online business when I was doing what? Spending 3-4 hours to hand type packaging labels. Imagine what type of life I was living. Fast forward now, like I said, I did my whole salary plus extra in one day of sales. We live in an amazing opportunity where you can have the life that you want. You can have the life that you want if you are willing to do the things that you need to do to leverage the online world. So I really want to encourage you guys, please, I don't care what you are selling. I don't care what industry you're in. You can make money in that industry. You can be a millionaire in that industry. 6 figures is not enough. Okay? Because there's a lot of folks that say, oh, I want to have a 6-figure business. And I'm like, I have 6-figure bills. And then when you say 6 figures, what time frame? You want 6 figures in a year, 6 figures in a month, 6 figures in a week, 6 figures in a day? How do you want your 6 figures?
Yeah.
You live in a world that you can demand when you want your 6 figures to come. So that's just my little spiel about the options that we have, right? And the opportunities and the stories of the successes that can come about when you commit to becoming the person that can build and keep your business. Because your business will keep you if you keep your business.
So good. So good. All right. I don't have any other specific questions on that segment, but if you can, I want to jump into some rapid fire questions.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Bam,
okay,
bam.
let's
Do it.
I don't know how rapid they are because a lot of my guests say, "Oh, I wish you gave me the heads up because I have to think these through." But do your best, and just let me know if you need some time. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited. I love this. Let's go.
All right. So, what's one skill that you recommend each listener learn to become a better marketer, business owner, creator, whatever the case may be, in 2021 and beyond?
Learn how to communicate the problem your product solves.
Okay, I like that. What's one book, podcast, or content series that has helped you along your journey?
The Compound Effect. It's a book.
Okay. Who's it by? Do you know?
Oh, I don't remember his name, but it's a red and white color on the cover.
Okay.
I think it's like
cool.
Darren something.
Every,
but the Compound Effect.
The Compound Effect. Every time I get a recommendation during the interview, I buy it immediately. So
awesome.
I'm gonna add it to my cart. Yeah. I'm big on that.
It's so good. It's so good.
No worries. What's the best piece of life advice that you've been given to date?
The best piece of life advice that I've been given today. Oh, by my grandmother. My grandmother. Ooh, she was such a general. Ooh, I love her. Boys and books don't mix. That was a piece of advice. Boys and books don't mix. What does that mean? Just in generic terms, depending if whoever you're dating, whoever your partner is when you come down to your business. Because to my grandmother, your book or you being in school was your business. That was your job.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But in this conversation, your business is the thing that brings in sales. So when my grandmother said that, the way I internalize it now as an online business owner is your relationships and your business will not mix. If you are on a trajectory in your life to build a life-changing business that's going to really impact the world and change people's lives, you cannot be concerned with other people that are not on your same trajectory. That means you're going to have to wake up certain times a day. You're going to have a certain type of lifestyle that may not mix with another human's lifestyle, be it your partner, be it your family member, whomever. And you're going to have to understand that what boys and books don't mix or girls and books don't mix. These things do not go together. Do not sacrifice your business for your relationship. The person that is meant to be with you as you're building your business will be with you. Don't mix them. So that's the best piece of advice that I would definitely say. Boys and books don't mix. Yes, Granny. Boys and books don't mix. Them don't mix, Granny. They don't. I concur.
Man, that was good. I like that. I made a footnote right now because I need to clip that right there. And that needs to be something that we post online because people need to hear that. That's important. Okay, so what's your favorite quote or mantra that helps you through challenging times?
Ooh, okay. My favorite quote or mantra that helps me through challenging times. Abundance is my birthright because the universe only says yes. Truth is, the golden goose is me that lays the golden eggs. I am exceedingly rewarded for being a top problem solver in my field of expertise. Period. That's it. The universe always works in my favor. I'm always going one. I don't care if our goods are stuck in customs for weeks. Everything always works in my favor. I don't care if we have to relabel over 10,000 units of products. Everything always works in my favor. I don't care if there's a nationwide uprising and the UPS truck, the USPS truck is not going to come into the city because they're afraid their trucks are going to be toppled. Everything always works in my favor. Everything always works in my favor. And this will make me a bigger beast. And that's
I like that. Where'd you get that from? Who
Yeah, what
did you
from?
was that inspired by somebody?
Oh, that's what I say. That's my Genwo Boo manifesto.
Okay.
Genwo Boo is generational wealth builder. It's the first 2 letters of each word. Genwo Boo, a generational wealth builder. That's my generational wealth builder manifesto. That's what I say to myself. That's what I say to myself.
And how often is that something that you recite every day to get yourself fired up? Is it something that you resort to when you're going through a problem? You say that to kind of reaffirm that you got this. How do you what's your relationship with that?
So I normally say it daily. I normally say like the first paragraph of it at the end of my lives. It's also my ringtone. So whenever I have my earpods in or headphones in and someone calls me, sometimes I don't answer because I want to hear the rest of it play out as the phone is ringing, because that's the ringtone. Seriously, like sometimes I just be like, oh, yes, I need to hear this right now. I'm going to call you right back when it stopped ringing. So yeah, so I have it at different places, right? I have it at different places.
I like that. If you could choose anyone to be your mentor, who would it be?
If I could choose anyone to be my mentor, who would it be? Jeff motherfreaking Bezos. Jeff Bezos. I'm telling you, let me tell you something. And here's another thing, right? Go back to that mindset. We live in a time where we are seeing the start of the Henry Fords. Yes, we didn't grow up when we saw Henry Ford start his factory or start the first model. We are living in the Amazon. We're living in the Tesla. Yes. We're living in the Apple. Yep. We saw the rise of these companies. This is past possible. There's no reason somebody else that's listening to this can't put another spaceship in the sky. This man is a regular man. He's not government funded and all this other stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Amazon, he started in my era. Look what he's done now. He has Jeff Bezos has single-handedly set the bar here, set the standard of delivery here. You know how many people have messaged me over the years and say, oh, do you sell on Amazon? Because I need my stuff tomorrow. That's called setting the industry standard. I want to know, how did you build the infrastructure to set the industry standard? When everyone was telling Jeff Bezos, oh, why are you putting up all these Wi-Fi towers all over the world? They didn't know Jeff Bezos was going to come out with the Kindle. So it doesn't matter if you have internet or not, because you have Amazon internet and you can read whatever book you want to read online, anywhere. When he's over here opening up and literally stimulating economies because he's building a whole entire city around Amazon fulfillment centers, that's the transportation industry. The transportation industry is like an $800 billion industry. Amazon trucks, them blue with the white check, driving around. You see what I'm saying? That's who I want my mentor to be. How did you do this in 20 years? How?
That's insane. That's insane.
That's it.
We're going to get him to be a mentor. Don't worry. I'll send him this video and and we're going to have all the people who follow this podcast comment under his post and just get him, to steer towards you, because I think that'd be amazing. You did mention in the beginning of the interview that what you guys are trying to do, you want to be the Amazon of your space, right? In terms of commerce and customer service and just quality. So there's no better person to model your business after than Bezos. Last question for you. So who's on your board of directors and what's their relation to you? And this is your personal board.
Oh, my personal board, like life board.
Yep. Life board, yes.
Oh, okay. My life board of directors. And what is their position, or what is their role?
Just what's their relation to you? If it's your mom, your man, your business coach, whatever, the therapist, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
All answers are welcome.
Yes. So I would definitely say, number one, I gotta say my mom, because I want to hear the end of it. I can hear her first. So one thing that I would definitely say about my mom, She is the epitome of perseverance. She is the epitome of redefining yourself. I'm talking about a woman who left her country, which is Jamaica, right? Where she had a housekeeper. She had her whole life set up as a nurse in Jamaica. She left to start back over, came to this country with $150, not because she didn't have money, but because of what? Because of politics between the two countries. If you're coming to the States, you could only bring a certain amount of dollars. And that was $150 per person. So she came here and she rebuilt her life. And now in this phase of her life, after surviving stage 2 breast cancer that metastasized to her lymph node, she is stepping into entrepreneurship. She's seeing how her business is going to be her safety net. And she was able to start her business. It's Regal Rose Club. She sells vegan handmade facial care products. And she started her business December 10th of 2018. And within the first year, she was able to make what she normally makes as a nurse. She was able to make that with her online business. And it's one of those security nets, because mom comes from a different generation. Mom's generation is, okay, you go to work, you have your pension, you have your retirement. And so as mom is seeing the world is changing, things are being like fickle, she is now relying on something else to be her safety net, which is her business. And if you keep your business will keep you. So mom is number one, because she's always teaching me perseverance and reinventing yourself. Every morning at 7:00 in the morning, mom and I meet and we have a business meeting. And that's where she asks different questions about her business and I answer questions. And so that's just teaching me no matter what age you are, you can always learn. They say, oh, you can't teach your old dog new tricks. That's a mindset. That's mindset, right?
It's not true. Exactly.
And so mom is one. And the second person,
some people they're just life learners. Like there's no situation that they can't figure out. Like it's just about being receptive to new information. A lot of us are like, our brain tells us to just like fight new information. I want to stay in my comfort zone. I want to do what I've been doing for some time and what works for me. And then they just have a negative reaction to anything that's new, that's introduced. I think, as you mentioned, it's just a mindset. And if you're able to have that growth mindset and that information mindset, you can learn at 75 years old. You can be learning software engineering. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Look at KFC, Colonel Sanders. He didn't really start making money until what? Later in his life. You see, so you can always learn. But the second person that's on my life board of directors, I would definitely have to say BB. I call her BB. She goes by Vani on the interwebs. And she came into my life as a student in one of my Facebook programs that I was having last year. And she became super, super successful in the results that she was able to bring in after going through the program. She ended up bringing in like $250,000 for the business that she was running the ads from after she learned. And the reason why, like, she's on my life, board of directors is because she is always pushing me to another level. She's pushing me to another level, not because of necessarily what she's saying, but through her actions. And that's what you want. You want people that are action takers. For instance, this year, right? We started off this year and I created a screensaver on my phone. And can you see it right now? Oh, let me see if I can pull it up. I need to clear all of my stuff. I can't clear it now. No, because the notifications pop up. So let's see. Let's see.
For sure.
Oh, there we go. So I don't know. You can't really see it because of my lighting. But it's a screenshot and it says PayPal balance $10 million. Why? Because that's my goal this year. And so, I shared that with BB. And she says to me, oh, create me one. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll go create you one. And I asked her, what a number do you want on yours? BB said $40 million. I was just like, ooh, I'm thinking too small, child. I'm thinking too small. And BB is Black. She is also of Caribbean descent. And I'm just looking, I'm just like, wow. Mind you, she's halfway to her goals right now. And I'm just like, come on, BB. Come on, BB.
What's her name?
See what I'm saying? Oh, her name is Vani. B Vonnie Brand, BE Vonnie, BONNIE Brand, BRAND.
Okay.
Every day we interact, and just seeing like, wow, okay, these are different industries that you could be in. Like, you don't have to make money the stereotypical way. You don't have to be selling lip glosses and lashes, or you don't have to be doing credit repair to try to make money online. You can make money in so many different industries. Like right now, like I'm thinking about starting a whole entire fencing company. And that's going to be what? A local business, in a regional business. Why am I thinking about doing that? Because I see my friend who is making it happen, and I'm like, oh, she's the proof that it can happen. She's also the proof that 10 mil is too small. She's the proof that 10 mil is too small. But because if you don't have someone in your life that is doing those types of numbers, you would think that it's impossible. But when I see BB do it, I'm like, oh, that's past possible. And BB mainly sends emails. She mainly sends emails. That's how she's been able to do it. And she's the one that got me into sending emails, because she would always tell me, oh, I made 50,000 today. Oh, I made 70,000 today. Oh, I have a new
What does she
high,
do?
100,000. She's in the space of the help you with your business space. And so she sends out emails to her email list, offering different products to solve problems every single day. And she teaches me about consistency through seeing her actions. And I'm just like, wow, BB, like this 10 mil goal that I have, it's past possible. Like I am seeing that, but that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to be around good people. She's the second person that I have on my life board. I also have Shaka Amos on my life board as well. And what he teaches me is just the power of taking action. He teaches me through his actions the power of taking action, because he is also in his entrepreneurship journey, and he's now seeing the impact of him not taking action, even though I was telling him to take action years and years and years and years ago, right? And so that's what I'm saying. Through his action, I'm learning the power of really taking action consistently, because the years are going to go by. Time is going to move. It is your greatest resource, because it's something that you cannot refund. You cannot get it back. When you go to the store, you order food. If you don't like that food, what do? You bring it back. You ask for a refund. You talk to a manager. In life, if you have a bad day, that's it. There's no do-overs. You only are in play. Every day you're in play. You cannot hit rewind. You can't get a refund. And here's the thing, even on your money, you can get a refund. If your money burns up in a fire, remember that example I was talking about with the budget, your ad budget? Let's say you actually burnt your money. You can take your money, mail it to the Federal Reserve, and they'll send you some new money. They'll send you replacements for the money you sent in that was torn, that was burnt, that was ripped, that was whatever. Your time, if you have a bad day, you can't ever get that back. It is your greatest resource. So he teaches me that through his actions. I'm always learning that. And then the last person that I would say is my grandmother. My grandmother. When I tell you she was a whole general, she was maybe 4'5", maybe 5, 5'6". She was a short little thing. But when she came, you better make sure you get your work done. And so with my grandmother, the greatest lesson that she ever really gave me was in her passing. And just seeing the life that she lived, the years leading into her passing, and to see what happened to her after the passing, right? How family members operated, how family members worked, with the finances. I tell you, everything comes down to the finances. And it really taught me that, no, I have to make sure that I generate enough income so that way, if an event were to take place, I would still be able to be independent. I wouldn't have to live with someone that really didn't want me living with them, but only took me in because they didn't want to have that internal shame. You know how you ask someone, oh, do you want some, but you don't really want to give them some of your food, and then they say yes? You know how you've ever had that feeling?
And you're mad. Of course.
Exactly. Like, dang, why did you say yes? It's the same thing. Some people, they may not want to help you, but they feel obligated because if they don't, then they may feel like some shame may come upon them. And so that was one experience that I learned with my grandmother, how she lived her last few years and her passing. I was like, oh no, I need to really be serious about my business and being able to take care of myself in the event that I may not be able to physically take care of myself. I need to have enough money to hire a housekeeper, to hire a nurse, things like this. That's another thing why I'm like, yes, my grandmother is always going to be there because of that life lesson that she taught me. And I have a bonus person. I have a bonus person. It's going to be my brother. And the reason why my brother is on this list, the people that are on my life board, is because my brother, through his actions, has taught me to double down on myself, to bet on myself, to go crazy on myself and my goals, to not be small with my goals, and to be really relentless with my goals. Why? Because you may make an investment in someone, you may see greatness in someone else, but if they fail to act or they fail to follow through, you can't be upset with them because they don't see what you see in them. And if you're willing to invest as much as you invested in this person to not get a return, why not double down on yourself? Why not? Like, I've invested almost $100,000. I've invested almost $100,000, almost $100,000 into someone's dreams, and to not get a return as yet, right? So when I sit and I look back at that situation, I'm not upset with him. I'm upset with myself because of all the opportunities that I look back and I'm like, dang, I remember when I was first starting my business and I didn't want to spend $75 a month to advertise my business on a blog. And that blog turned out to be one of the top health and wellness blogs years later. Imagine if I would have not been small with my spending, my ad spending, my marketing spending for my business. Another opportunity, working with an influencer in like 2017. Imagine if I wasn't thinking small with myself, right? To invest $800, $900 that influencer wanted at that time, how much further along my business would have been. Even if I didn't get, let's say, an immediate return on my ad spend with that influencer, I could have still used that content and repurposed that content to try to recoup my ad money. So now what have I learned? I have learned to double down on myself, because what? I can guarantee my results. A lot of people in business owners, they get upset and frustrated with other people when in reality, the only person that you can control is yourself. And sometimes you can't even control that. How many times people say, oh, I'm not going to eat this anymore, or I'm going to work out. You can't even control yourself to keep the word to your own self. How do you expect another adult to do the same thing? Double down on yourself, better yourself, build yourself up. That's why my goal is to spend $100,000 on Google ads to double down on myself. If I can do almost $100,000 for somebody else, why can't do $100,000 for my own business? You see what I'm saying, Idia? But these are the people that are on my board. They motivate me every single day. Everyone motivates me through what? Their actions. Not what they say, but what they have done. Whether it's a positive or it's a negative, it's all in what the mindset and how I use it to fuel me and to keep me going. So those are the people that are on my life board. And I'm very happy, very, very happy to have them. Very happy.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm mad that it's 10 o'clock. I wish this was done in the morning so I have a whole day to just like execute on all these things. I like talking to people who are, again, one, passionate about what it is that they are being called to do. I think that's very important. I think our purpose in this world is to find our purpose, execute on that purpose, and then leave a legacy, right? As you mentioned, like, personal investment, taking yourself seriously, that's a form of self-care. Discipline is a form of self-care. So being, loving on yourself, and then setting up the future, as you mentioned before, with what your grandma taught you. That's the highest form, or one of the highest forms of selflessness, by prioritizing legacy and doing all these things for yourself, not for yourself now, but just looking 20, 30, 50, 100 years down the line. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all of the gems that you gave. I think the audience can say the same. So thank you very much. I want to just make sure that we get a chance to allow you to plug anything that you're working on, anything that you want people to kind of jump into and immerse themselves in. We talked before about your crash course, or sorry, your Facebook ads
Oh,
crash
yes.
course, but also the experience in the Dominican Republic in August. So can you just talk
Yes.
about all
Evolve.
the yes,
Yes.
talk about all this so that people can go and spend money with you.
Well, listen, people spend money on all types of things,
Yeah.
but people rarely invest.
Yes. There we go.
People
There we
spend
go.
money on all types of things, but they rarely invest.
Yep.
So with Evolve, right? Evolve is my immersive business retreat and is really targeted to driving revenue for your business. Remember, that is what's
Mhm.
going to keep your doors open, right? Your staff, your systems, your software, it all requires money, right? And so
Yep.
because of that, I always want to focus on your bottom line. And
Mhm.
so if you come to Evolve, we're going to be going through, of course, it's full service, right? We don't pay for the plane ticket because we have people all over the world. And so when you come fly into the Dominican Republic, you have transportation from the airport to the resort. You're going to be in a conducive environment that's away from any distractions. Because I don't know if you all have ever felt like, oh, wow, I just wish that I could focus on my business, or I just wish that I was around people that really understood me, that really get me. If you come to Evolve, if you come and evolve your business with us in the Dominican Republic, August 21st to the 25th, you will be in that environment. If you're thinking about, well, what strategy should I really use for my business? You want to make sure that you are going to be in Evolve, right? In the Dominican Republic with us. If you are the person that says, oh,
Mhm.
wow, I really enjoyed what she had to say, and I really want to get a one-on-one with her, guess what? I don't do one-on-ones unless you come to Evolve, right? In the Dominican Republic
Okay.
with us, August 21st to the 25th. So that's a very immersive. It's very hands-on. This is not any therapy session. We're not going to be doing affirmations or meditations. I'm gonna be doing that on myself because that's what I do. But
Right.
what I
Right.
care about is driving sales for your business. So we're going to have 5 workshops. Each day is going to be a new workshop. But remember, what did I say? A workshop, not a training, because people have a lot of information and they let it collect dust in their email. And I am not about that. So if you come, you better be prepared to do the work. So that's what Evolve is. I do have a virtual option just in case you may not be able to travel to the Dominican Republic. You can definitely get a virtual option. Just go to TC Atkinson, TCATKINSON.com, or find me on the interwebs on Instagram is my main home for the TC Atkinson brand. And click the link in the bio and then go click Evolve, and you have all the details, the remaining details spelled out there. But if you say to yourself, oh, you know what? I'm the business owner that knows that Facebook, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be the marketing method, the marketing strategy that I'm going to implement this year to take my business to the next level, to make sure that I'm not, posting on all day to not make a sale, or you're not at least making one sale every 24 hours or every hour. You should at least be making 24 sales a day. That's one sale an hour. And if you are not doing that and you want to use Facebook, then yeah, go ahead, grab access to my Facebook crash course. All right. I teach from a very no BS perspective. I teach from a perspective of this is what I am doing. This is how I do it. And you can rest assured that it is information that is going to transform your business. So that way you don't have to worry about like, oh, am I going to make a sale tomorrow? Can I afford to keep my website running? You don't want to have those problems. You want to have different problems. Right? You want to have different problems, like inventory problems. Why? Because you're making a lot of sales. That's what you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So find me online, tcatkinson.com, and I do daily lives. So if you enjoyed this conversation and you say, oh, I'm so motivated by her, my response is always going to be, did you take action?
Yes.
That's the greatest
Yes. That's
indicator of your motivation. You taking action.
Yes.
Send me a screenshot with the action that you took. Yeah. Send me a screenshot of that.
I agree.
Yes.
I'm gonna send you a couple screenshots tomorrow because I'm motivated from this conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining this podcast. We appreciate it. And again, hope that everyone who's listening has taken a lot of notes. TC has given so much time, 2 hours of her time to be able to have this conversation. So please, as she said, take action. Don't let the information fall to the wayside. And, do your best to make those daily deposits each day by learning
Exactly.
and by doing something. So I appreciate you.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Idia,
Nope.
for allowing me to be on your platform and introducing me to your audience. I really hope that this was beneficial. I really hope that this was a transformational experience for your business, right? The business owner that is listening to this, I really hope that this transforms your business. And if and when it does, please send me a screenshot. I take reviews so I can use it in my ads. But if you don't want me to
There we
use
go.
it in the ad, just let me know. Just let me know. Don't use it in an ad. I just, I appreciate it. It keeps me going.
Yeah. No, for sure. Feedback is important on all levels, to know that what you're doing is having its proper impact. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. We hope you found immense value in the discussion. More importantly, though, we also hope that you were able to kind of take away some practical gems that you can use to power your hustle today and act on them immediately. For episode notes, for resource lists, for cheat sheets, for extended show notes, please visit Clout101.com. And also to stay up to date on all things Clout101, we ask that you please follow us on Instagram. It's at Clout101 MKTG. So at Clout101 MKTG. Lastly, and I mentioned this in the intro, but I have to stress this. Lastly, it would mean the world to us if you left a rating for us on Apple Podcasts. And if you don't use Apple Podcasts, just please feel free to pass this episode to any one of your friends, family members, professional contacts that you think can leverage this. We're available everywhere on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, everywhere. So just check us out. Please spread the word and, feel free to reach out to me directly to provide any feedback, suggestions. Always looking for feedback on future guests. So, please shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot me a message on LinkedIn, and I'll be sure to reply immediately. I'm E-dee-yuh signing out. Stay safe, blessed, and encouraged. Peace.